This is the glamorous part they don't tell you about being a YouTuber. Saturday night uploading party. Let's do this. Today I want to talk to you about a question I get all the time that until recently I thought was easy to answer. The question is, Ray, what is it exactly that you do? Not as easy to answer as I thought. You know, it probably should have been a clue that I even get this question from people like my dad. And I finally realized that, like John Maxwell says, it's difficult for you to read the label if you're inside the bottle. So I started talking to friends about, what do you think I do? Just to get their impressions. Okay guys, so here it is. I'm a storyteller who seeks to encourage, inspire, and equip entrepreneurs to prosper with purpose and live a rich life. And that last phrase is really important because there's a big difference between getting rich and leading a rich life. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Hey there, I'm Ray, and if this is your first time visiting, welcome to my channel. I do it for you. I hope you like the stuff you hear. If you do, I would encourage you to subscribe and click that bell. When you ring that bell, that means YouTube will let you know anytime I publish a new video, which should be, I hope, encouraging, inspiring, and equipping for you. And I'll explain exactly what I mean by all that in just a moment. Okay, I had to move this thing inside because I didn't plan this very well. There's some kind of wine tasting and music festival going on, so it's suddenly extremely noisy. There's people everywhere. And I wanted to get this video shot, so I'd improvise, and I'm doing it inside the car. And of course now there's somebody in the car next to me. Now they choose to come to their car and make a bunch of noise because the guy's shooting a YouTube video. Why not? This is what you do, right? Just a guy filming himself in his car. Nothing to worry about here. Let's take it piece by piece. I'm a storyteller, first of all. You know, I've been a storyteller since I was a young kid. Since I can remember knowing how to speak, I told stories. I wrote stories, I drew comics. I made audio recordings of stories I heard like on the radio. So I was a storyteller from the very beginning, and storytelling is the art of putting people in a different place and time so they can receive your message. It's been said we tell stories so we know we're not alone. I think we tell stories so we can experience things that we wouldn't otherwise be able to experience. I think it's no accident that the greatest teachers in history taught primarily through the use of stories. Jesus told stories, Buddha told stories, Socrates, Plato, they all told stories. Whether you agree with their ideas or not, they communicated them through storytelling. It's a powerful art form. And I'm first and foremost a storyteller. And I tell stories for the purpose of, first of all, encouraging entrepreneurs. Why do I feel I need to encourage entrepreneurs? Because it's scary being an entrepreneur. You're basically saying, I have an idea, and I have so much confidence in it, I'm going to forego a paycheck and security, and I'm just going to take my idea out into the world, and people are going to pay me for my idea, and I'm going to make a living and support my family through that endeavor. That takes courage, which is not the same as being fearless. Fearless is, I'm not scared. I'm either too smart to be scared or too stupid to be scared. Courage is, I'm scared, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I think we get enough discouragement as entrepreneurs. People who are telling us it won't work, that'll never work, you'll never make it. Your chances are 1 in a million. Why don't you get a real job? Why don't you really support your family? Be responsible. So we get enough discouragement. I think we need the voice of encouragement out there. And I'm going to be part of that voice for the people who are listening to what I have to say. The next part is I tell stories to inspire entrepreneurs. Why do I say inspire? Because the meaning of the word inspire is to breathe in life, to breathe in. Because it takes courage, yes, it also takes inspiration. It takes motivation, which is part of inspiration. And so I inspire by telling the stories of other entrepreneurs, like the story I told yesterday about Napoleon Hill. Most people didn't know that whole story. It's very inspiring to a lot of people. All you have to do is read the comments. I'll link to that video up here. Read the comments from people, and you'll see they were very inspired by that story. And so I inspire by telling the stories of great entrepreneurs and also through telling my own stories. Not that I am so great, but that I am real about the challenges that I face, about the difficulties, as well as the successes, because, I mean, let's face it, who's going to take entrepreneurial advice from somebody who fails all the time? And people tell me they're inspired by the authenticity, by the openness with which I describe my challenges, including my health challenges. I mean, I have Parkinson's, which presents its own unique problems for me, but I don't define my life by that. In fact, Michael J. Fox said we're not defined by our challenges, we're defined by how we respond to them. And I believe that wholeheartedly. So I want to give people stories that will inspire them and also encourage them. And the third part of my statement is that I equip entrepreneurs. I equip them with tactics, with tools, with teachings, trainings, seminars, workshops, the things they need to get the job done to make profit in their business and to still have a life left over when they're done with it. And that leads to the last part of the statement, which is to prosper with purpose and to live a rich life. If the only reason you're in business is to make a bunch of money, pile it up, and have the fanciest cars, the biggest house, then you're going to have an empty life. I'm not saying you're wrong by doing all that stuff. I'm not saying there's anything morally wrong with it. But I am saying if that's your only reason, it's not enough to sustain you. When you find yourself alone at the end of your life and you say, is this all that I have? Is just a bunch of stuff? It's empty. And I know I don't want to end up there, and you don't want to end up there either. So you need to have a purpose that's bigger than you. That is the reason behind your business. Your big why. Start with why, as Simon says. And finally, to lead a rich life. There's such a big difference between getting rich. I've met plenty of poor people who lead a rich life. I've also met many rich people who have a poor quality of life. And that's sad. I mean, it's almost a proverb. We see the people who have seemingly everything. They have beauty, they have money, they have power, they have fame, they have the love of millions of people, and they're so miserable inside they kill themselves rather than go on living. What is happening there? You can have an abundance of money, but that will not solve the problem of a poverty of spirit. So that's my mission in the world. My mission in the world is to tell stories that encourage, inspire, and equip entrepreneurs to prosper with purpose and to live a rich life. So I made it back from my little adventure out and about, looking for different shooting areas, different scenes, and it just got to be too hot and too many problems. I dropped the camera. I got into a nest of yellow jackets or hornets or something. Seriously. So I just came back to my safe place. One thing I wanted to share in this whole quest to define better what I do, I was having a text exchange with my friend Jeff Goins, who wrote the book Wrecked, The Art of Work, Real Artists Don't Starve. All of Jeff's books you should buy and read. You should buy them in every format: Kindle, audio, physical. Just saying. He was talking about times that he felt he'd seen me at my best when it comes to my work. When I was on track, really in the groove, in my zone of genius, as we like to talk about around here. He said, in those moments, I'm reading from a text he sent me, in those moments I saw you leaning into your story instead of trying to change it to fit a better narrative. I liked that. I like your story. So that had a powerful impact on me, because I think we all do this to an extent. We change our story slightly to make it into a better narrative, to make it feel more like a story that we are proud of. And I don't think any of us intentionally lie, but I think we emphasize certain parts of our story and de-emphasize other parts so that we can fabricate or confabulate a better narrative. And I'm looking for the real narrative. I think there is one. I think it was Patrick Moynihan who said, "You are entitled to your own opinion, but you are not entitled to your own facts." I'm looking for just the facts, man. I realize it may be hard for me to get there. In the words of another great philosopher, the band The Eagles, there's three sides to every story: yours, mine, and the cold hard truth. May truth prevail. I don't know where this is going to fit into all the other video I shot, but I feel like this is pretty good, so this should go in there somewhere. Future Ray, Editing Ray, I'm speaking to you. What's your purpose? What's your reason for doing what you do? What do you do? How do you describe it? I'd love to hear it. Put your comments and thoughts below, and I'll see you in the next video. John Maxwell frequently says,
anything exciting happening?
no, this is a guy filming himself. That's all that's happening.